Is this a perfect bike? The answer is no. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 reasons of why this is not a perfect bike. Now, no bike is perfect. Every bike you get will have some limitation. The challenge, the issue I have is when you do your research on the web, no one points out the negatives of the bikes because every review out there is a paid review. It's motivated by negative intentions. What happens is Suzuki and all manufacturers give out press bikes, and the press bikes with the name, the recognized name reviews out there in the industry, they always point out the positives, they never point out the negatives. And then in this video, I'm going to point out the 3 negatives of this bike. So you, as a consumer, when you're purchasing the bike, you have a true, honest assessment of the bike before you invest your significant dollars, your hard-earned money on the bike. This is not to negatively bash Suzuki or manufacturers, but I'm calling out the industry. I'm also calling out the reviewers out there that everything is gung-ho positive, but no one calls out the negatives. So let's talk about the 3 negatives of this bike and why this is not a perfect bike. First reason is the seat. This is supposed to be a GT touring bike, but this is one of the most uncomfortable seats I have ever sat on. Now, I compared this seat. It's surprising because it's supposed to be a touring bike, a GT Grand touring bike, but I'm telling you, that seat is very uncomfortable. It's more uncomfortable than my MT-09. The MT-09 seat is much more comfortable. The FJR 1300 seat is much more comfortable. My Tenere seat was more comfortable. All my bikes have had more comfortable seats. The Ducati Street Fighter seat is much more comfortable, and Suzuki, calling this a GT Grand Tourer, have put on a very uncomfortable seat. And that seat, I'm gonna have to figure out to either replace it or to add extra padding, and that's extra dollars that I wasn't banking on. I'm going to talk about the other 2 reasons, but do also smash and subscribe to my channel, where you get the honest, true assessment of bikes. On this channel, I purchase bikes with my hard-earned money to bring you true independent reviews, objective reviews. No press bike, no press reviews here like all the other manufacturers, like all the other reviews on the web. They're all fake. It's all fake. This is where you're going to get reality. The second reason why this is not a perfect bike is this screen. This is not a very efficient screen. It is bigger than the Ninja 1000 SX, but it is definitely not aerodynamic. It causes quite a bit of turbulence in the cockpit, and you get a lot of noise in the cockpit. So that, and Suzuki in their marketing, they claim they've aerodynamically tested and made the windscreen. That's all fake marketing. I don't believe any of that, having owned it and having used this bike. It is very noisy, and that screen definitely can have an improvement. So to that end, the way I've solved it is I just got this additional lip liner that I think should fix the issue, and I think that should be a fixable issue. So but my call out is, I'm going to call out Suzuki, and I'm going to call out all the other riders, the reviewers out there, saying that the cockpit and the windscreen is perfect. No, it is not the case. It definitely is a dodgy windscreen. Aerodynamics, it's just fake aerodynamic marketing by Suzuki. Now, the third drawback of this bike is the front brakes. Although they're advertised as Brembo brakes, the braking is very not as tight. I mean, I have tighter, better front brakes on my FJR 1300 and my MT-09, but for a leader bike, these front brakes don't bite. It's not radial mounted caliper, although they are Brembo brakes, but the caliper is not radial mounted. It's cheap, and it just not pump enough power to the front brakes. The bite is not as good. Even my older BMW bikes that I've had, like the GS, they've had much better front braking. So I think the way to solve this is to get the brake pads from the Jigsaw 1000 and then replace these brake pads from the Jigsaw 1000 and replace these plastic lines with steel lines, and then possibly also add a radial brake cylinder on the front brakes. That should make things better. But the point there is that should be fixed. They should come standard out of the factory, not where we have to, as consumers, we have to get creative and then spend our additional dollars to make the change. So as I said, I've pointed out three call-outs. I'm calling out three issues, three things wrong with the Suzuki. Does that make it a bad bike? No, I don't think. You got to balance the negatives with the positives and the price, of this bike compared to the others. But my concern is that no one has called out the three negatives that I've called out. The seat sucks. The windscreen is really bad. The front brakes really need to be improved. And everyone is pointing out, oh, it's a great bike. No, that's not the case. There are flaws with the bike. There are flaws with every bike. And before you go and spend your $17,000 American dollars, your hard-earned money, in purchasing this bike, you deserve the truth. And if you appreciate deserving the truth before you make your informed decision, then smash that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and like this video, and stay tuned for more videos on the GT and other bikes that I have in my garage and that I'll be adding into my collection. Cheers.